What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of That Hobby Show. This week's topic is breakers. And if you guys don't know what breakers are, we'll try and explain it for you and, get you familiar with it and what we look for when we join a break or what we look for when we're looking to pick a breaker to break with. But first, as always, with me is Jason DeGraff. What's up, Houston? How you doing today?
Good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. Super tired. This weekend I had all my kids with me, so one weekend a month the family doubles in size. So yeah, it goes from 3 to 6 people because I have a lot of kids. So yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, other than that, it's good. This we've talked about it offline before, but this show kind of like rejuvenates us and kind of kind of gets us. Well, at least for me, kind of gets me ready for the week. It makes me feel good.
Yeah,
It definitely
definitely.
gets me through to at least. Yeah. So
Yeah, it definitely gives me something to look forward to for sure.
yeah. But before we get started talking about breakers, as everybody knows, I'm big into TTM. You're big into TTM, and I was talking about how my success rate from Japan is horrible, and I realized I have made a rookie mistake. So I use the International Forever stamps. I put them on my SASE, the self-addressed stamped envelope that's coming back from Japan.
Right.
That is not the proper thing to do. Yeah, and I just figured that out this weekend. So I needed Japanese stamps, and me being the dummy that I am, I still didn't even put two and two together. That hey, these envelopes are coming back from Japan, and they have Japanese stamps on them. I didn't put Japanese stamps on them, so yeah. So the crazy thing is, like the guys that I'm having success with, they're physically using their own stamps, or they're going to the post office, or they're getting somebody else to do it for them. So, I mean, I'm extremely lucky and grateful that I even have any successes from Japan. Uh, but I
that's
found
so funny. That's so
what
funny you say that because I don't think I would have ever put that together myself. I've never sent a an item to Japan, but I don't think that would be something that I would have considered at all.
no, and I didn't, and I felt like an idiot. What made it even worse is because I seen a Twitter post about, a guy had a success and he talked about how he got Japanese stamps. And I had just mailed out like 3 letters to Japan an hour before I seen that post. I was like,
Oof.
are you kidding me? So uh, I'm rewriting all my letters and everything and getting them sent back to Japan because one of my friends from Twitter actually sent me some stamps, which I got to do a thank you post on Twitter, thanking him for the Japanese stamps and everything. And then uh, you probably seen my post where I have the Ichiro banners. One of the guys that I get those from Prestige Collectibles on on Twitter. Oh, what's up, Dan from Korean Cardboard? Saying what's up. So he actually ordered some stamps, some Japanese stamps for me. So here in a couple weeks, hopefully, I'll be getting some Japanese stamps. But
No.
yeah. So, but breakers are our topic for today. So, what exactly is a breaker? So, that is someone that basically opens up cards for you and you pay them for it. So uh, it's a lot of people can't find retail or they're priced out of the hobby. Their local card shop is priced too high. So what you do is say 2021 Bowman just came out. So we'll use that for example. Say a box of 2021 Bowman's going for about $300, and you're like, whoa, I'm a Red Sox, or like for you, I'm a Rangers fan. I don't want to spend $300 when all I really care about are the Rangers. So a breaker will be like, okay, uh, we're going to open up, say, a case of 2021 Bowman, which is about 12 boxes. And you get all the Rangers cards, but you have to pay a specific price. So the Rangers they don't really have any hot prospects, anybody that's super big right now. So they're probably on the lower tier. So maybe about $60. And you pay that and you get all the Rangers cards. Whereas a team like my guys, the Orioles, they've sucked the past few years, so they have high draft picks like Adley Rutschman, Keston Herstad. So they'll probably be in the upper tier where it's more expensive, say $75, something like that. So that's what a breaker does. But with the flippers that have invaded the hobby, I've seen a lot more people doing retail breaks, which is you just buy everything up at Walmart or Target, and then you do your own little break.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. You got to do your homework with breakers. I'm not saying they're all bad, not saying they're all good. You have the good ones, you have the bad ones, and then you have the middle of the road type guys. But I've actually bought into a couple breaks. Actually bought into a break on Thursday. Topps Tier 1 just released, and it was a half case break. So he bought a case, and then he divided it into two half case breaks. And then there's a bunch of different types of breaks that there's a BOGO, you buy one team and then you get a randomized one. Or you can buy an entire division like the NL West, And so I ended up buying two spots in the Tier 1 box break, or half case break. But the cool thing was so you picked your team and then you got two random teams. And the way it actually worked out is all of my hits were actually the random teams. So, and, here's where breaking can get expensive. So I have bought into multiple breaks trying to get an Ichiro Suzuki autograph. The amount of money that I have spent on those breaks trying to chase Ichiro is I probably could have bought two certified Ichiro autographs, and that's the thing with breaks, because you're like, oh, well, I'm only paying 50 here, 75 there, 80 here. But But the cool thing is with this break, so if anybody's not familiar with Topps Tier 1 for this year, oh yeah. And so Dan, he's been buying up Burley autographs. And the crazy thing is, I thought of you, Dan, because one of my random teams in that Tier 1 break was the White Sox. I did not get a Burley, but I got pretty lucky. I got a Jose Abreu relic and Luis Robert autograph. So my first Lou Bob autograph. But the cool thing was, so I went through Crack and Wax. I don't know if you've heard of him on Twitter, but that's like my breaker that I use now. I've had really good luck with him. He has fair prices, and what he does is he shows you how much everything costs. Like, he breaks it down like, this is how much the case cost. This is how much how much I would pay per pack. This is how much supplies cost, everything like that. And then, so Tier 1 is one of the more high-end releases. I think boxes are going for over $200. But on his site, he was selling them for I want to say 179.99, and then the prices that I paid in the 2 breaks and got 6 teams was I think I ended up paying 175. But so I paid less than what I would have paid for a box, and I got my 2 autos and 1 relic card. The other autograph that I got was in the other break I was in. It was a random team. It was the Twins. He pulled a Rod Carew autograph, which is pretty nice. So I got a Hall of Famer, got a Lou Bob. I'll probably try to flip the Robert because I'm not really a White Sox fan, and he's still a big name. And with him having spring training out here in Arizona, there's still that possibility that I might be able to get him in person. But so yeah, that break actually worked out really good, and the breaker, I forget his name that does it on Crack and Wax, but it's really fun. It keeps you entertained, where other breakers, I would just tune in for my break, and then I wouldn't stay around. I'd be like, all right, this shit's boring. I'm going to see what I got, and then I'm getting out of here. But it was fun. He had his wife on, and the people in the chat were really fun. It was pretty cool. But when I was talking to you, though, you said you've actually bought into a few breaks as well.
Yeah, I've actually, in probably 11 years of collecting, I've only ever bought into 1 break, and that was, I guess, maybe a month ago now, and I did because it was so cheap. It was a 2021 Series 1. I think it was a Target Mega, and then a 2021 Donruss baseball hobby box. And I basically did it because it was so cheap. It was $13 for one random team, and I was random the Mariners, and he pulled a Evan White auto out of it. So yeah, I can't really complain. But when it really comes down to it, I probably have a very different view on breakers than most people do.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
And I've said it a couple of times on some posts I've seen where there was one post I seen where a guy was doing a break with, I think it was 20 optic retail blasters, and the chargers was like $300 or something like.
Because A-Bear or Herbert, however.
Yeah, and so I commented on it, and this is kind of my view. Obviously, not all of them, because like the guy you break with breaks down everything. But to me, breaking is just kind of flipping with extra steps. And I think that years ago, it was more of a breaking with hobby boxes. And for people that even then couldn't afford hobby boxes, that it was a good way to, much like you did, not saying tier 1's unaffordable anyway, but it was a way for you to get into multiple teams and that kind of thing. And now these breakers have ventured into not just breaking with hobby boxes, but breaking with retail too. And we all know, anybody that's been in the hobby for more than a month, that your odds of getting anything in retail are far less than hobby boxes. Usually that's the point of a hobby box, is you're guaranteed 1 auto, 2 relics, or 1 auto, 1 relic, or 1 auto or 1 relic, but you're guaranteed something. Then again, it may be a $5 Xander Bogaerts relic card, or it may be a 1/1 Justin Herbert auto. Who knows? And I don't know. I guess I kind of sit on the fence with breakers. I very much see the point of it, especially during the pandemic, where blasters are $80, $90, because you can buy into a break for $80 or $90 and come out extremely well on it. So I kind of sit on the fence about it. but it's hard for me to get involved in some of these breaks with the prices and knowing that it's all retail or partial retail, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you have to do your research, man, and ask questions. I forget what the Tops product was that came out. It was probably a while ago, but it feels like it was like a month ago. I don't even like. Honestly, Sundays are the only day that I know day of the week it is because we do this. But there was a Tops product, and a lot of the legit breakers posted that, hey, it was either the Nationals or the Marlins didn't have they didn't have cards in that release, and there was breakers that were selling that team, and then the other legit breakers stepped up and were like, hey, do not buy into a break that has this team or that is selling spots for this team because it doesn't exist. It's just a way for you for them to take your extra 10 or 15 bucks, the shady stuff. And then me personally, what I do, I like to, well, before I buy into a break, I look at the checklist, see if the checklist is out. If the checklist isn't out, then I won't buy into the break because even though my luck is like so-so, I like to look at the checklist and see what team has the items that I want in it. Because, I'm chasing Ichiro and I could go buy a Mariner spot, but Ichiro could be in the product, but he won't have any Mariners cards because you got to remember Ichiro played for the Marlins and he played for the Yankees.
We sure did.
So yeah, so say you're in a Tops Archives break, right? So we know what Archives is. They take just older cards, stamp it, put
Mhm.
that serial number stamp, even though it's a common card that they have laying around, they put that serial number on there. So Archives is older cards. So you want to look at that checklist and be like, okay, Ichiro, shit, he only has Marlins autographs. So I want to buy a spot for the Marlins if that's who you want. There was another product that just came out a few months ago. I want to say it was another Tops product where they had current players, but it was from the teams that they started out with. Like there was a couple Miguel Cabrera autographs, but they weren't with the Tigers. It was when he was with the Marlins, and I want to say they did the same thing with Yelich, but I can't remember what that release was, and he had Marlins stuff. So you got to pay attention because a lot of times, well, every time I've never seen a breaker that didn't do this. Whatever team they're pictured on, whatever uniform they're pictured in on that card is the team that they're going to go to. Now, if say some of the high end Tops products where it's a dual signature or dual relics, then they take whatever teams are on there and then they will random it. Between the 2, 3, 4, or 5, guys that have those spots. And then what else? And then I always watch their breaks too. I will, the Dan will get a kick out of this. I was watching a tier 1 break just because I wanted to see, what it looked like because the product had come out. I want to say on Wednesday, and my break wasn't until Thursday. So stuff hadn't hit eBay yet, so I wasn't able to see it. And the guy pulled a Mark Burley autograph, and he's like, Mark Burl, and then he pulled a Kent Herbeck. I mean, Kent Herbeck isn't a superstar, but he was kind of a big deal. Late '80s, early '90s when the Twins were winning World Series, and he was like Kent Herbeck. And I was like, oh man. And he was really manhandling the packs too. That's an expensive product where, he took the side and then he is like, fumbling, trying to get the cards out and everything. I'm like, oh my God, the corners, bro. Because those thick cards, man, even though the cards are thick, you got to be careful with those corners, especially with a product like that, where if you get one of those silver signature autographs, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10, and they're all beat up, it kind of kills the resale value. But yeah, always watch their breaks just to see how they do it. See how much they know, because to me, if the way you handle the cards and if you know a lot about the players, that gives me an idea of, okay, how's this dude going to pack this stuff? Am I going to get, a bunch of cards sandwiched in between cardboard and duct taped shut, or am I going to get stuff in soft sleeves, top loaders, team bags, that type of stuff, because I mean, you can't really, well, you won't know how the guy or gal packs up their items unless you actually buy into their breaks. But if this dude's like manhandling shit, and yeah, then I don't really trust him to.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I bought into the one break I did, because I'm in a group chat, and he's in there as well, and I know that he actually gets hobby boxes like allocated to him, and so it's a little bit easier for me knowing that he's not buying these off of eBay and for $300 when they came out from Tops at $80. Like the Series One hobby boxes, they were on Tops website for like 89, I think, and they were going for about 150 to 200. And I know that he gets his stuff without paying the flippers in turn, charging even more for a break. And I know he gets the stuff allocated to him. And I obviously, being in the group chat, interacted with him several times. And so I knew what I was getting into.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't disappointed. It wasn't underwhelming. It wasn't overwhelming. It was just kind of like, cool, I bought into a break. I can say I did it. But to be charging, $300-400 for one team, that's like, and everyone's chasing Herbert, obviously, and with the Chargers, you could very well pay $400 and end up with a Joshua Kelly auto, and those are nowhere near the same in value. And I know I'd like to see the poll on people that buy into the breaks, because I live in LA or whatever. I'm a huge Chargers fan, always have been. So let's see if I can get this $1,000 Herbert card for maybe 200 or 300, versus the people that are like, let me see if I can get this $1,000 Herbert card for $200 or $300 so I can flip it and make that extra money, that kind of thing. I'd like to see the over under on that, of the people that buy into breaks hoping to hit something to flip, or just because they genuinely like that team, and they want to pull that team's cards without having to spend $300, like you were saying, on a hobby box, and then not hit anything of the Chargers or the Mariners or the Diamondbacks, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So the way I did it with tier one was, so I picked the Mariners because I wanted Ichiro, right? But then they were also, excuse me, they were also loaded, I felt, with Hall of Famers, because so you had like Edgar Martinez, a Hall of Famer, not super popular nationwide, outside of the Pacific Northwest where he's beloved. But still, had that chance to get in that Hall of Famer. Then you have Griffey, worldwide phenomenon. And then you had Randy Johnson, who, his autographs fetch a pretty penny. And even though he's been in a lot of products, the market really isn't saturated with Randy Johnson autographs. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more. Hell, there's probably more King Griffey Jr. autographs on the market than there is Randy Johnson. I should have looked on eBay. It sold to see what's on there, because now I'm kind of interested. But so I felt comfortable paying the price that I did for the Mariners. It was like maybe 110. But if I pulled Griffey, the big unit, or who was the other one? Griffey, Ichiro, any of those three, that would have paid for the box. That would have paid for both breaks. If, say, I pulled Edgar Martinez, then, not bad, but I would still be behind, right? So then my favorite team is the Orioles. So they were in the other half case that I bought, and then they were loaded too because you have Cal Ripken, and they had all of his like he had the bat knobs, the bat barrel, relics, autographs, and then you had Jim Palmer, where you can get his autograph super cheap. But me being an Orioles fan, I would be happy with the Jim Palmer autograph. Then Eddie Murray was also in the break, and then a couple of the younger Orioles, Ryan Mountcastle, I think John Means and Cedric Mullins were in it. So, I would have been happy with those for the price that I paid. But I went hitless with that. So, and that's another thing that people got to look out for is some breakers call it skunk protection, where you can buy into a break and you pay, your $50, $60, $70 or whatever. And if you're only picking one team and they don't pull cards of that team, you're out. But a lot of the legit breakers, they'll have what's called skunk protection, where, they'll send you a goodie bag, a few random packs or some singles. I think I did one with Midwest Box Breaks, and it was a tribute break because, again, I was trying to get Ichiro, right? And I think I ended up so the Mariners were sold out, so I went with the D-backs, right? Because I thought, okay, maybe a Greinke isn't bad, he doesn't sign a lot, or Randy Johnson. I think I got like 2 serial numbered cards, and he sent me some packs, and I think like 2 Tatis second year cards or a Bowman prospect. So I didn't get my money back, but it still made me feel good. And then
definitely better than being like, oh, you picked the Mariners, there wasn't a single card in there. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about your luck, bro. Should have, did your homework. But yeah, that's definitely stuff you got to look out for, because there's just a lot of them that are super, super shady. And you've probably seen the videos where, what was it? A few months back, everything's a few months back. I think he was doing a basketball break, and he stopped in the middle of it. Like he had pulled like this crazy, it was like a Zion or something. And then he's like, oh, somebody's at my door.
Yeah, and he got up.
Yeah, he got up, and like that card disappeared or something, or he you could hear him in the background like opening up other packs or swapping out the cards. It was crazy. So one of the things I like is a lot of the times the breaker will have the camera focused on their mats, right? And the cards should always be on screen, the unopened product, right? And then the open product, they put it off to the side of the screen, no big deal. And then a lot of them will have the 2 camera setup where you got one camera looking at the cards and then another camera looking at their face. And then it'll be up, like in the corner of the screen. So you can see, if there's anything shady going on in the background too.
Definitely.
Yeah. But
the guy I bought into a break with, he had the camera pointed down, towards the mat. And then he had one, what would be his top right, like focused in on him and like the desk, and you could just see like everything basically. So if something changed hands or something went from one place to another, you definitely would have seen it. So if I ever did, get over, being on the fence again, I would definitely break with him again, because he kind of covers all the bases. If you don't get something, then he offers the skunk protection, as you were saying. But like you said, you have to do your research, because not everybody offers that. And nowadays, I mean, I don't know if breaks are more expensive than they were just even 2 or 3 years ago. I feel like they were, because everything's more expensive than it was 2 or 3 years ago. But I mean, nobody wants to pay even $30 and just be told, sorry.
Yeah. And dude, I'll be honest with you. Really, since the pandemic started, I never, before then, I never paid attention to breakers. I guess because I was able to scratch that itch. I was going to Walmart or I was going to Target and I would pick up a box, and really I stayed away from the high end stuff. That was kind of more like a reward for myself, where it's like, hey, I've been doing really good at the gym. I'm going to go have a cheat meal. Where it's like, hey, I saved up all this cash, so I'm going to drop, some money on a box of Transcendent or something, But I I don't know. I'm kind of like you. I'm wishy washy about it. Where at this last break, I got my 2 autographs and one relic for less than what I would have paid at the LCS, and I feel good about it. But then there's been other breaks where I'm like, my girlfriend's going to kill me. I can't believe I did this shit. I got a Roberto Alomar serial numbered card with, so yeah. But I don't know. I like them. I would definitely buy into some breaks again, but I would only do the high end stuff where I would have a good shot of getting something that I probably couldn't afford. Or, I mean, it's probably smarter just to, watch them on TV and be like, or watch them on the internet. And, sometimes I play that game where, okay, in this break, I was going to buy this team. So I'm going to watch the break and see what would have happened,
Kind of live vicariously a little.
Yeah, yeah, do that. And then, they pull that Ichiro relic and I'm like, mother effer. Or, or they pull like the Evan White autograph and I'm like, well, I didn't really miss out too much on that. So, yeah, but I dig it, and I honestly don't see them going anywhere. I don't think, because I mean, what was it last year for Topps flagship? They had, what was it, like a million case break or something? It was in the Cowboys Stadium where it was just all breakers.
Yeah.
It was like a million case break, and they all streamed it, of everything that they were opening up of flagship, which was crazy because you're thinking, why would Topps do that with a million cases? Everybody's going to see everything that was pulled. So how much product could actually, how much good product could actually be left after a million cases? But then, if you think about it, you're like, oh my God, just how mass produced are these cards now. Like everybody says we're in a new junk wax era, which hell, they're probably printing more cards now than they did back in the 80s,
I mean, even now, we're still getting 2020 Absolute Football, and I was finding that back in September and October.
Mm-hmm.
And now the fat packs have started surfacing at CVS's, and people are buying the whole, cello boxes with I think it's like 12 packs or whatever it is in it in CVS's. So it's like, I think it came out, I want to say Absolute came out in August or September of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the middle of, the next year, and we're still finding 2020 Absolute Football. Like,
yeah.
That's
it's not like CVS just had them in the back and they found them. Nah, they're still getting this shit. So, Dan from Korean Cardboard had a question for you. What is your favorite football set? So, Dan, do you mean football set or football team? And then we'll stand by for Dan's answer. But do you have, we all know your favorite football team is the Carolina Panthers, but a favorite football set? Do you have one?
Yeah, it would probably be Donruss Optic. To me, they're just the cards look good, they feel good. Even though it's a base card and you pull it, you're still kind of happy by looking at it. It's a different card than I guess like the paper Donruss, I guess. And even though the print's the same, the design's the same, to me it's just a lot better looking card. It's a it's a better feeling card than most, and you got your silver parallels, your hollows, and stuff like that. And to me, they're just some bomb ass cards.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite football set. Probably football cards from the 50s. I really like those cards. They look cool, those crazy poses and everything. So that I've been buying. I wouldn't say I've been buying a lot of, but it's crazy how much you can get NFL Hall of Famer rookie cards, like how affordable they are. 20, $30 for some of these guys. Uh, it's pretty insane. But
Yeah,
what up?
I
Oh,
don't know why, and I feel like during the pandemic, obviously everybody, even before the pandemic, really, but everybody's so hot on these prospects, and the Hall of Famers haven't really. I guess I guess they've just been kind of a status quo. They haven't really gone up, but they haven't really gone down for baseball. But for whatever reason, I don't know why. But unless it's like three or four football players, like through like NFL Hall of Famers getting seems like no love here lately.
yeah, and there's really not. Like for me, the football breaks aren't as fun as MLB breaks, because for whatever reason, well, I mean, the reason's probably because the season's shorter in the NFL. Uh, you have a jersey relic in MLB that was worn by the player, and you have a bat that the player would use. So that's two items you could chop up from a player and put in a card. But for an NFL player, you can. I've seen people do cleats. What is it? Panini does it where they put the actual cleat. Those relics, I think those are badass. They're really cool looking. So you could cut up their shoes. And back in the day, I even seen like little face mask relics where they take the face mask and they cut it. They just slice it down the front, and it was like a little sliver. It looked like a magnet. Like come on. I can stick this in my refrigerator. It's a magnet, and you're telling me it's a piece of a face mask. But yeah, the NFL breaks just don't seem as fun because there's not that much stuff of the NFL Hall of Famers as there are of MLB guys. Like, I mean, hell, how many Cal Ripken Jr. bat relics are there? Like, if you looked at them, even though they're little slivers, the size of a postage stamp, if you put them around together, that's shit. There's probably like a couple hundred, Cal Ripken bats out there because they don't cut them right at the same time. There's a lot of them where they made mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like even in a break, you have good chances, like you were saying, of pulling like an Adrian Beltre or Ichiro or Cal Ripken, actual MLB Hall of Famers, but you're not gonna pull like a Terry Bradshaw Hall of Famer out of a break, and you're not gonna pull a Jerry Rice out of a break. I don't think I've seen Jerry Rice auto floating around in a while. Not to obviously they do exist, but I mean, you're not gonna get one in a break.
Yeah, no, because I don't think well, I forget what the high end NFL one is, but we had another question from Glenn Lee. Favorite baseball card set for me. My favorite one that I am currently working on is 1959 Topps. I'm trying to do the master set because the master set back then there was a lot of errors, a lot of like minuscule stuff that nobody would ever pay attention to. But this is back in the day. I don't even think Topps corrects their errors anymore. You'll just see, like, if you looked it up in a price guide, it would say UER, uncorrected error. But like one of the big cards in 1959 Topps is Warren Spahn, or is it Warren Spahn? I want to say it's Warren Spahn. But there's three versions of it, right? And they messed up his birth date. One, it's like the 3 in his birthday is there was like a printing error. and it kind of looks like a 2, like an error that small. And they made 3 different versions of it, and one of them are the corrected version is a lot more easily attainable. But then there's also on the backs of the cards, there's white backs, and then there's gray backs, where it was like for this series they changed the paper stock, and they were like, shit, we need to change this back. So then there's white backs, and then with the gray backs, and then they had optioned statements on the back of them too. It'll be like option to Syracuse, option to Birmingham, and some of the guys that got optioned, they don't have that option statement. So a lot of the cards in 1959 Topps, you have to pay attention to the backs of them, because that's where you find out if it's one of the more rare cards or not. Because a lot of the guys, or a lot of the times, at a card show, they're not displaying the back of a card. They're in the front of it. And if that dealer doesn't know, because we're in the middle of this hobby boom again, where people that are new to the hobby, they see something that's old and they buy it, and they think, well, it's old, it has to be expensive, where they may not know what they have, and you need to check out the back of the cards. Because I think even up into the 70s, what was it? So this year's Heritage was the 1972 Topps design, and a lot of the errors in this year's Heritage is what they took. They actually took that from 72 Topps. So there was it was like Max Scherzer or somebody with the Nationals, but it said San Diego Padres. That was an actual error in the 1972 set. They got the Washington Senators confused somehow with the Padres, and they flip-flopped some of them. And then there's also the errors where people thought, hey, Topps just made this up to make money, where the team name will be in yellow instead of white, or it'll be white instead of yellow. But that actually happened in 1972.
Yeah,
so
they've got color variation.
Yeah,
I guess color variation.
for me, all-time favorite set, 1959 Topps. Close, well, a second, I want to say it was 1992 Topps. Whatever year was the 40th anniversary. So I think it was 1992, because that was like the first real box of cards that I bought, or that was given to me as a child. I remember it has the Wade Boggs photo, where it's like, like they were laying underneath his crotch and took that photo, where it looks like the storm clouds behind him and everything. Just one of the cool, that set has amazing photography. Who was it? It was either Benito Santiago or Sandy Alomar. It was like they were taking a picture of him on top of a ladder, and he was catching, and he has his mask on and his glove up. Awesome photo. And then there's Roger Clemens standing in front of the Green Monster. Yeah. So those are my two. I know you didn't ask for two. Sorry. What is your favorite baseball card set?
Mine's a little bit more modern, but I've got to go with the 2011 Topps set. The overall design of the base cards, just the name banner and the design of the card, I think is just a lot better than what they've done in recent year or within the last few years. And those diamond sparkle parallels, they were absolutely just a fantastic idea. The silvers and the cognacs, or however you pronounce it. And I think those diamond sparkle, because I think that was the 50th anniversary. I think it was
60.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It was either 50 or 60. But the base cards, they just look good. Unlike the 2021s, you can actually read the player's name and the team names without having to have a magnifying glass, and there's no wonky placements of the rookie card or the gold cup. And just the parallels that were in those sets were just fantastic. And the diamond sparkle was one of the best ideas I think the Topps has ever had since the 90s, basically.
Yeah, the cognac, I love trying to get those signed. So if I see that a guy signs TTM and he has a cognac card, I'll send it to him. Uh, it's about 50-50 chance that I get those back because a lot of times they keep the cards. Because
Yep.
always I do put the correct postage on, but guys see this and they're like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." But then a more a more modern set that's my favorite, 2008 tops. Uh, I think a lot of people hate that. They think it's ugly, but that's the set that I'm trying to get the entire set signed. Will not ever happen, but a guy can dream. So that one, it's a white border. It has like the little balls at the top of the card with the team name in it, the little circles, you know. But the white border looks great for autographs. So yeah, that's our favorite sets. But yeah, so that was a fun episode. We did I did better about staying on topic this week. So, but what I think you have a stack sale going on, correct?
Yeah, it ends. I don't even know what today's date is. But it ends tomorrow night
All
at
right.
5 p.m. Monday on 5 p.m. So a little less than 24 hours. And I did
5
start
p.m.
a Yep, and I did start a Patreon for Chasing the Graph. It's got 3 tiers: $1, $3, $9, and they've all got different criteria. It gets you a lot of early access and I guess behind the scenes to the celebrity and athletes that I interview. And I got a soft yes from a pretty household name today, and just $1 a month gets you access to that information. And at $9 a month, you can advertise with Chasing the Graph. You can't even get a McDonald's meal basically for $9, but and you can advertise $9 a month for advertisement. I mean, that's a steal in my opinion. But anyway,
So in the stack sale, what can people be expecting to see once they go to your Twitter after this?
if you use hashtag Chasing the Stacks, STAX, that'll bring up the entire 60 lots that were posted in a little bit of Donruss, a little bit of opening day. There's some 2020 select football in there, which people are going crazy over. And the select is just the cards are just $1. So if you want a select player or a player of your that you like, and you don't want to spend $80 for a blaster, they're on my page for one whole doll hair.
Yeah, there you go. So with your Patreon, how hard is it for you to keep a secret? Like, cause you got a
How
soft,
hard?
right? Yeah. Cause me, I would want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
tell everybody.
I do. I do. I want to tell it so bad because this guy is on TV and he may or may not work for the world's largest sports news network. Yeah,
The wheels are turning. See, look at that. Yeah, I won't guess because I want to guess, but yeah, but
it's already been posted on Patreon for $1. You can go find out right now.
see, there you go, man. Do you accept Apple Pay, Venmo, all that stuff?
Yeah, it's set up in there that I think it's mostly through PayPal. I think it is. So once I think like if you were to go in and say I want to sign up for the $1 tier, it'll ask for I think like either your PayPal information or like your debit card information. So
Sweet, awesome. Where else can everybody find you
let's see if I can get this right. Boom.
besides Twitter?
Chase
There you go.
Chasing
Boom.
the Graph on Twitter. We're inching closer to 1,300 followers. Facebook at Chasing the Graph as well, and Instagram. You can follow me on there or not. I don't really care. I have like I think 180 followers maybe. I never use it, but Chasing the Graph number 8
Yeah,
right there, right there, and
yeah. And then yeah, and you did your YouTube as well, Chasing the Graph. Did you mention that?
Yep. YouTube is chasing the graph. I've got one interview I need to upload, which everybody already knows about that one. Justin Knox, former Alabama Crimson Tide college basketball player, and he eventually transferred to UNC.
Oh, that's the Zion shoe, right?
Yeah, the Zion blowout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got to edit that one a little bit more and then upload it, and should be ready to go. But that'll be uploaded to @Chasing the Graph on YouTube.
Awesome. And then Charm City Graphs. You can find me. You probably already found me on YouTube, where it's Charm City Autographs. Charm City Graphs on Twitter. Charm City Charm City Graphs on Twitter. Charm City Autographs on Facebook. Yeah. So thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Comment after when you guys watch the replay anything else you want to hear us talk about, because I really like hearing everybody's feedback and figuring out what they want us to talk about. So thanks everyone.